first day. Your designation.
What was that?
BRP 01/138.
Which I don't know if you've noticed, he's released 8 theatrical movies to date.
We
7 of
expect
them have
great
flopped at the
things
box
from you.
office out of 8.
Yeah.
That's not a good track record. In addition to that, his whole source material was Tom King's comic, which in itself is not such a good comic. If anybody's ever read it, I read it, and it's not very good. But as much as it's not very good, letting that girl that once co-wrote a short film do the screenplay for it somehow made the source material even worse. And from
And in
behind
this
all of it,
regard,
having James Gunn
you will be
making it like
superior to your
Guardians
more
of the
common
Furiosa
brethren.
is so weird. And I was just baffled, watching this movie, thinking how bad it is. And as much as I laugh about James Gunn and his silly decisions in more recent years, even I didn't
For
think he
you are
could
a
produce
commander.
something so terrible.
An elite unit. Something
Aaron.
truly special.
How did you find it?
Your weapons,
All right, first
your
off,
armor,
I just
and
want to say
most
how much I
importantly,
love
your
the
brothers.
Tartan army that came to Boston.
The Eiffel
And I know
of our
that's
world.
totally
You're trying to butter me up
Counting
now
costs
because
to
you're,
bring
you're
down
giving
much
compliments
larger
to Scottish
prey.
people.
So too
So,
shall you join
I know I'm
three
going off
brothers
track
and become
the
fierce
fans here
hunters
hate
for the
that,
Republic.
but I think the Tartan
Now,
army deserves two
join
thumbs
your
up
paw
because they're some of the best people
and
in the
embrace
world.
your destiny as
That's
their
the
leader.
Thank you.
Join Delta
As for
Squad.
this film, the reason I'm
Delta
laughing is
4,
because
your
literally
foundation,
I
a
mean,
pure
I
and
admit there are
uncomplicated
some really
soldier.
bad choices in this
6'2",
film, but
the
there were
heart and
also
soul
things
of your
in this film
team.
that I
And
actually did
07,
like.
the
And
fiercest
so
hunter
I
of
admit
all
I'm
your
the one
brothers.
person on this panel who
You are
probably
each a
enjoyed
piece of a
a
whole
good
person.
portion of the movie,
And the
even
Republic
though
will
I
call you to
absolutely
defend and give
acknowledge
your
there were some
lives
really
if
poor
need be.
decisions made, specifically by James Gunn. And this film actually made me hate James Gunn personally for some of the things that he decided to do, even though there were some things in this film that I actually really liked. And
Ready for liftoff.
I'm not sure when we're ready to get into
New
spoilers,
gunship.
so I
Okay,
won't
Group
get
B,
into
let's
too much of
move it.
that.
Let's go.
But
Push
things
those
that were
cannons to the
all
start.
in the
Load the
trailers,
ammo and the
happy to
ordnance. Let's go,
spoil the
let's
hell out of
go.
those trailers. But the trailers
Sir,
did
we're
not
gonna split up for the
match
drop, but we'll meet you at the RV
very
on
well.
Geonosis.
The
See you
trailers
planetside,
showed
sir.
a drunk ass Supergirl, and the thing is, he should have made Kara into a pretty Supergirl, not a pretty drunk Supergirl. And because nobody likes seeing a drunk girl act like that.
Welcome to
It just,
Geonosis,
it's
Creator.
a turn
It's
off
nice to see they
in
finally
every
unhooked you
way.
from the sim.
And
I've been assigned as
it
your
doesn't
advisor,
sound like the way
and
you
I'll be
want
your
to sound
eye in
in
the
the movie.
sky until
And
further
then,
notice.
you know,
Or
the
you'll
whole
get killed.
thing with Kal-El, the
Once
Conqueror
you're on the
bit,
ground, you will
and then
rendezvous with
the
Delta
dog
Squad.
peeing
Delta
on
6-2 is
Superman.
nearby. Your
That
first objective
opening
is to
bit
find
and
him
that
and link up. The squad
stupid
objective
trailer
remains.
that they
Find
kept
Son
like
Fack and
repurposing
eliminate him.
parts of
I will be issuing further orders
simply
as you go.
was
Good luck,
irresponsible.
Commando.
And if James Gunn doesn't have a way to pull his head out of his ass, frankly, and solve the Conqueror problem that he has introduced now, he doesn't deserve to have a job. But I did like parts of the movie, so there is that.
That stuff is the weirdest. Like his own giant boulder he attached to his own leg for no reason at all. Because of course
Why?
everyone was waiting to know if this film would double down on it or cause contradictions. But it causes
Yeah.
contradictions no matter what. Especially, by the way, for when Zod's going to eventually arrive in this universe. Like that's going to be interesting. How that
I
plays
think because yeah, there's loads of different aspects of this that we'll get into as we discuss the plot. But like as an overall view, I will say this movie has a number of problems and they are not inconsiderable. The first one that Aaron alluded to, I will give it credit in the sense that what you saw in the trailers of her being drunk all the time, like that's not really what she's like throughout most of the film. Like she starts off, she's just partying because like it's her birthday, but for the bulk of the movie, she's just normal. So like, okay, fine. But like she is this very cynical, this very jaded character, this very world-weary character who's just got no interest in being a hero. She's got no interest in planet Earth. She doesn't want to work with Clark. She just wants to be on her own, and she's just drifting with no real sense of purpose, which I just think it's a terrible way to start this movie, and it's a way it makes it very difficult to warm to the character, because what you get is a bunch of flashbacks ultimately that tell the story of how she ended up where she is and how she ended up on Earth. But it doesn't really justify why she has the attitude she has. What I would rather have seen is the fall before the eventual like rise that you would get through this movie. So I'd rather see her try to be a hero and try to do some awesome stuff, but make mistakes or cause some horrible disaster or whatever, and then become very jaded because of it and retreat into herself. As it stands, she's just bummed out because like she doesn't want to be on Earth and she can't go back to Krypton, and she's just, you know, a sad sack, and it just makes it really hard to like. Notwithstanding,
I will be providing you with support and
Alcott's
technical
performance and
information.
all the rest of it.
Technical
Yeah, I don't want to shit on her too much, but
holographic projections.
the other big issue with this is the plot. In that the plot is just a series of and thens. You know,
What was that?
she goes to a planet, she's like partying, she just wants to be on her own, and then a little girl shows up who wants some help, getting revenge on the guys who killed her family, and then she says no, and then they show up at her trailer / spaceship conveniently and steal it. You'd think there would be some kind of anti-theft mechanism on it or some kind of booby trap. Nah, they can just take it. And then they shoot Crypto with a poison dart, not like a blaster or a vaporizer or something that would just explode him. Nah, it's like a slow acting poison, so that you've then got a ticking time element of the story. So she's got 3 days to track them down, get the antidote, which they conveniently have, and then get back to Crypto to save him. And then the girl comes along with her because they've got intersecting goals. And then they run into Lobo, and then and like nothing builds on top of each other. It's all just stuff that's surreptitiously happens in order for the rest of the plot to progress forward. And the end result is just this really pedestrian slog of a movie where you don't really feel like there's any stakes, because Kara is functionally invincible. The little girl who's with her, here's her name again. I've just done a review on this and I've forgotten her name already.
I didn't know her
Ruthie.
name.
Ruthie.
I didn't know until
Yeah.
the end of the movie when she was like, "Oh, I'm glad I met you, Ruthie." I was like, "That's her name?" I thought it was like Ella or something.
Yeah, I mean, but Ruthie, yeah, I don't really understand her power levels, because sometimes she's a helpless little girl, other times she can take down like
A grown man.
guys who are these like giant guys who are like 5 times stronger than her, and I don't know what her power level is then.
To be fair, she only did that once, and that was a little weird.
It was very weird. She
It was
killed a
very
grown
weird,
man.
but she was in a cell with spikes that were spiked with poison. So I think I could be wrong, but I think she got spiked by poison. So it wasn't just her.
With her little body, what happened was she got behind him with the handcuffs. It starts choking him, and my first instinct is going, "Bro, just jump backwards." Like, she's tiny. Yeah. You can beat her. But okay, outside of that, once she gets next to the wall, she's able, like, somehow with her small frame to push off the wall strong enough to push him into the spikes on the other side of the wall. And I'm just sitting there the whole time. I'm like, what are we doing here? This child is like as tall as a cabinet, and she's able to take down this grown man. I couldn't even suspend my sense of disbelief for that, because it just didn't make a lick of sense at all.
It was a Bella Ramsey situation.
Yes, yeah, like in the end of Game of Thrones, where she's suddenly able to do things that like a whole platoon of men couldn't do. I don't think that it was necessarily trying to make any point about girl power or anything in that moment. It was just the plot needed her to be able to escape so that other things could happen. And
I think that's exactly what it was. They needed her to get out of there. And I mean, I'm sure there was a better way for that to happen. I think that they tried to use physics with her on the top half of his body to change the center of his gravity. So when she pushed off, he kind of, if you tip forward and you have too much weight on the top half of your body. Like, but the problem, you guys, I acknowledge there are things that I think did work, but I think they cut. I think they went into this film because at some point, am I wrong in thinking it was 2 hours? I think they went in.
48, I think.
Yeah, I think they went in and carefully cut different bits throughout because there were so many points in the film where I'm like, Jesus, I have to do the heavy lifting to fill in the blanks on this. And as an audience member, I should never have to fill in the blanks. I shouldn't have to figure out. She's changing the center of his gravity. Oh, he's using the spike. Oh, okay, whatever. Or there are things like this throughout the film that are really aggravating with the story. And the thing that really upset me with all of the pre-marketing and trailers, and I know I'm talking, I apologize, is that the real problems in this film, nobody talked about them in the pre-marketing. There's some serious problems that never came up before this, and everybody's so focused on the stupid shit that's in those trailers that is over in like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think
what a waste.
I think they lied, like, because I have to counter Drinker's point where it's like, they do like the drunk thing and like she's just normal and like she's supposed to be reluctant, but I didn't get that while I was watching the film. It didn't feel like she didn't not want to help people because she was constantly going out of her way to try to help people the whole film. So I'm confused. I'm like, what's the character like arc that she's supposed to be going on? Because you can't start out and go, oh, she's like a drunken mess. Oh no, she's not. She's just celebrating her birthday, and it's like she's not reluctant to help people. She's doing that the whole movie.
Well,
so like, what is it that she's actually battling?
I guess
don't really understand it.
Yeah, I guess what they were going for is like she's reluctant to get involved in bigger causes and like, I'm going to take responsibility for protecting this planet or whatever. But if she sees someone directly in front of her, like the little girl who's under threat, I guess she'll step in because she feels obliged to or whatever. But I get what you mean. The result is like a character that doesn't really have much of an arc. It's kind of a flat line of, she's pretty much the same person at the end as she was at the beginning. The difference is she's just decided to go back to Earth and maybe reluctantly work with Clark. Yeah.
I had a question for you guys about that cell thing because before I forget about it, Lobo was right there. Now, Lobo could have taken out one of those guards, and he could have opened the door for both of them, and he could have said, okay, little girl, let's go get those people. And that would have been
waiting for.
He had no interest in doing that. He was there to observe and have fun. Like, he was the observer, and it was like entertainment for him, basically.
He was a bit like the Keymaster guy in Last Jedi. like...
They're gonna say Matrix.
Yeah,
what the fuck is he called? Like the Code Breaker. Sorry, the Code Breaker.
Yeah, DJ.
He just shows up in the cell where he needs to be.
DJ. DJ, his name was, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, no. Here's another one thing of the things that they did not. This is what I think they cut. I think they cut a bit of the film, in that we saw Lobo go up to the ship. We saw him go after them, but. Let's just say they capture him. What are they going to do with an immortal? They're not going to do shit with an immortal. So what do? They put him in a cell that's full of, poison spikes that are really painful, but he eventually recovers from, but he can't get out of. That's what he was doing in the cell.
Well, even then, I was just like, how did they capture Lobo? Like, because like a scene earlier, he was just whooping all their asses like easily. So it's like, how did they capture him? I'm thinking maybe he got captured by himself so he could get closer to the guy because Lobo's bored or whatever, so he just wants to do it the easy way or something. But they don't really hint at any of that. He's just there. And it's like every time he shows up, he's just there, and it's like, why?
Yeah,
because
this movie's been cut to shreds. You can tell. The first 30 minutes are all over the place because I think there was about 15 minutes extra of connective tissue that they've just cut out to try and trim the runtime.
100%.
They've used that to put in like extra bits with Superman because they know he's a bit more popular than Supergirl, and like that's why they have all those Skype conversations, which I don't think they were in it before. It's just to get a bit more of him in, and they've obviously tried to trim down the runtime as much as they can. But man, the result is such a choppy movie where you're having to like fill in the blanks yourself. And
I would argue that Lobo is reshoots. I think, sorry to bring up the cell scene again, I was thinking to myself if that's not a reshoot, because initially he was supposed to have much less screen time, and apparently the Warner Brothers executives above James Gunn's head, like Mike DeLuca, was quote-unquote so excited about seeing Jason Momoa as Lobo that he demanded to see more of him. And then they apparently did reshoots, added more of him, and I think in scenes where he's just there doing nothing because they added him in reshoots, and it's like Kata said, all these scenes you remove him and nothing is different. It's like the same scene whether he's there or not. And it's what you said, Drinker, with Clark Kent at the end. I think they watched this movie, thought it was a depressing slog, and as part of damage control, they said, you know what, let's just bring Clark Kent out and have him do something hopeful and positive in the movie, because otherwise it's a drag.
It even looks like a reshoot though, that last scene. Like the last scene looks like they added that in because it looks completely different than the rest of the film. Like,
do you mean the last scene where they both show up at the end?
Yeah, with
like
Kara and Superman. It doesn't look like it fits in this film at all, not even a little bit.
Yeah, I think as well, like with Lobo, he's actually to the film's detriment because, you know, Jason Momoa is playing Jason Momoa, and to be fair, he's good at it. I mean, the guy is just like dripping with charisma, and he seems like he's having a load of fun. And you can't help but think, man, I wish I was following him in this movie. Like, his movie looks like it would be a lot more fun than hers. Because he just kind of leaves her in the dust. And it's unfortunate because the more he's there, the more it just shines a spotlight on. Wow, she's a really uninspiring protagonist.
It's a night and day difference. It's ridiculous.
How much screen time does Lobo have?
Not much. 20?
I don't even think it's 10. I think it's less than that.
Sure.
Like he's probably like 5 minutes all together because he was there at the bar scene, which I think that's the only scene, him at the bar and him on the ship. I think those are the only 2 scenes that he was supposed to be in. Right. And then you have him fighting in the middle, trying to get his bounty or whatever. And then the jail scene. He's barely in the film, but when he's there, it's like, oh, I would much rather watch a Lobo film. And even then, he just felt pretty uninspired to me. I wasn't even really like, oh wow, this character's so cool. It's just like, this is better than Kara because she's boring.
You know how as well. I was just gonna say this one thing. You know how we were talking about we watched the trailers and we were all kind of saying the same thing, like, this is not a James Gunn movie. It wasn't directed by him. Theoretically, it wasn't written by him either. But holy fuck, does it feel like a James Gunn movie just from the trailers alone? That's 110% echoed throughout the movie. There's even sequences that feel like they were stolen straight out of Superman. You know that scene where Lexi's like base camp gets attacked by like the Green Lantern, and it's like we're gonna do a slow panning shot around one character while all this destruction's going on around them in a battle scene, and there'll be like some pop music track playing over it. This movie does exactly the same thing. It's a James Gunn movie in everything but name.
They did do that.
They definitely stole tricks.
Is that the scene that's gone viral that loads of people are sharing?
With her at the end, where they have like the gender bent version of that song. That's the scene. Which I have a lot of problems with that scene. I did not like that scene for the sole fact of I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to have your heroic moment or whatever, but you're trying to protect this child and you're throwing debris all over the place. That child is dead. Like, that's the only thing I was thinking the whole time. Like, it's like, oh, you're trying to save her from all the Ravager, not Ravager people that are around her.
Oh, the brigands, they call them there. The brigands.
You're blowing shit up, and things are literally flying towards her. The only reason she's not dead is because the plot demands so. Like, a truck lands right in front of her and bounces over. I'm like, you're not trying to save her. You're just trying to kill all these people. Which really goes into, like, what I really disliked about this film was that revenge bad plot line that they kept trying to do with the little girl. Because it's like, you're like, Kara the whole film is like, I don't want you to kill this person because it's going to make you bad, or you're never gonna let that go. Which is like, well, if you're presenting this character as somebody who's not supposed to be caring about that kind of stuff and jaded, why would she care about that for this child unless you're trying to help that? But it doesn't even matter, because at the end, when you talk her down from killing the villain, you just killed the villain yourself. So it's like, it's not revenge is bad, because she did it for revenge.
I keep getting tornado warnings on my phone. I will be right back.
Revenge, because he
No,
poisoned the
she
dog.
didn't do it for revenge. She did it for justice.
No. She said, this is for what you did to that little girl, and this is for poisoning my dog. That's revenge.
Yeah, that's revenge.
That's revenge. By the way, Kate, I have a question question for all of you. I don't know if I'm done.
And the game just crashed.
Sniper mode. Very accurate. Very deadly.
Dumb, and I didn't understand this scene because it was really dimly lit, so it was like very dark. A lot of the scenes seemed very dark with the lighting, and I don't know if I'm stupid and I didn't understand the scene, so I wanted to ask you all. There was a scene in the middle of the movie where the little girl, Ruthie, could have killed Krem, and she's standing there with her sword, and Supergirl stops her. And then she says, "Why did you stop me?" And she's like, you know, you have to do justice, not vengeance, and all that. And then immediately, Krem gets up and kills 3 people, including a little girl. Did that happen? Or did I imagine it?
That did happen, yeah. And then that's when Kara like flies up into space and has a good old scream.
Yeah,
because she realized how
Well,
much she fucked up there.
See, I think that's part, like, I know people are like, I don't see her character arc. I actually do see her character arc because she's dealing with, and this is actually what I did like with the character arc, is she's dealing with, like, global level survivor's guilt, and it's put her in a huge depression, and, you know, and I don't mean just like, oh, I'm depressed. I mean, she is in the depths of despair, and it's her birthday, and birthdays are really, really hard when you're alive and everyone you know is dead and there was nothing you could do to save them, and you feel helpless beyond anything you've ever felt before. And here she is in this moment, and she's not just drinking, and I think this is what James Gunn gets, or whoever gets wrong with that opening scene, is it's not her just drinking and being alone on her birthday, living it up. She's actually committing self-harm because she can't hurt herself any other way. Like, and anyone who's ever been in a severe depression knows that you drink to bury your pain. And so there's a lot
to the
of
converted
that
on this
here.
one.
Yeah, I got mine right now.
Yeah. You know, so like that's where she's coming from, is that self-pain thing. And Kitty, you were right. Like, every time someone is in trouble, whether she means to help them or not, she cannot help herself but to help them. And I do think that something went wrong. She makes a lot of bad decisions, which we've seen in this movie, where she ends up costing people their lives while she's trying to save people. She just has not become a good hero yet, even though she's technically a good person. She's not learned the ropes because she hasn't recovered from that pain. And I do think that's the whole point of Ruthie, is she's not only saving Ruthie, but there's a part of her that's trying to save Ruthie's soul, so that Ruthie doesn't become the jaded, horrible person that Kara sees herself as. And by doing that, maybe Kara could save herself. And I'm making a lot of leaps here because I think they cut the shit out of this movie, and I'm having to fill in the blanks. And I find
think
myself very
you've
angry
basically
about that.
written. I think what you've done is written a better movie than the one that was actually given to
what
us.
you're doing is imprinting on what the movie should be and what it's trying to be and what it doesn't do. Because everything you're saying would make sense if that's what they were trying to go with. But as I'm watching it, everything you're saying is just I can't agree with it, because I would like the movie to be that way. It would make it more interesting to have a flawed character that I actually care about, you know, and has a personality besides just, I don't know, like what was her personality? Like the shit talker, like Star-Lord Light? Like I didn't really understand what she was supposed to be. Like everything, it just sounds like you're imprinting what it should be, which is it was a good like.
Well-
hey, I would rather watch that movie.
What-
than
But
what-
that's
yeah,
the thing.
Context as well. I was going to say,
I-
for context for Mauler, the reason she has all this survivor's guilt is that when Krypton was destroyed, her family and a bunch of other survivors were able to. How do I even describe it? Like, they basically had this energy field around part
Right.
of the city that they were living in, and it lifted the entire city out into space, away from the planet when it got destroyed. And so they were able to survive for a few more years beyond that. But then they all start dying from like radiation poison or something. I think it's like there's kryptonite.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that got
the
released.
kryptonite was into the soil, and then it spread throughout the whole thing.
I was
they
a bit
can't
hazy
grow
on that.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all speaking in Kryptonian, and my subtitles were in German, unfortunately. What could you do, eh? so I had to piece it together a little bit, what was going on in that bit.
Do they tell us in this version what happened to Krypton yet?
It's
Yeah, I
the
just
same.
wouldn't.
It's the same. Like, you know, the planet's core was
Okay.
becoming unstable. Kal-El was trying to tell them that was going to happen, and it happens anyway. And they don't go any further into that at all. They don't say like what led to that or why it's happening or anything. They just say it happens, and then they do the joke of, oh, he's sending his son out to be the conqueror or whatever. Which is
Right,
like,
they double down.
when
Double
they did
down.
that, it confused me because it's like, so is that what this whole culture is? Because that's not what it seems with Kara and the rest of the people. It doesn't seem like that's
It
what
seems,
they're doing.
yeah, it seems
So-
like a civilized culture of like scientists and scholars and stuff, and then you've got this weird, like
Yeah.
maybe like his parents were just these fucking far like right
Jerks.
weirdos or something. I don't know. Yeah, who are like, go forth and conquer the galaxy, my son, and everyone else is like, oh wow, glad
Right.
they're not my parents.
Which makes it worse because it's like you're fundamentally just changing the character of
Yeah.
Jor-El.
But,
just
so
because.
she knows about all that though. They conquer.
And that, yeah, that's
Yes.
the plot hole because it's like you have to know because your
Mhm.
dad is always talking about his brother. So it's like there's no way that you don't know that he sent his son to be a superpowered god essentially. And she doesn't even question that. Like when he's sending her away, she doesn't go, so is my cousin, you know, or nephew or whatever, is he already going to be there waiting for me with this planet subjugated or anything? It's just like they don't even talk about it.
Well-
Like that should be a major thing.
Well, no, I think they actually do kind of communicate it because there are so many points. Like it started to like be aggravating. Every time her mother was talking to her, it was be a good person, be a protector,
Yeah.
you know, be kind. You don't have to be nice, but you should be kind.
Don't be
um,
like Jor-El.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
What's crazy is James Gunn could have just not put that one line of text in this movie, and it would have been fine.
He loves
think-
doing that. He loves doing that. He's enjoying it. And I'll say this, a lot of people that defended his Superman when it came out said that at the end it'll be Brainiac that planted the recording. But with this one sentence, I think that the Brainiac explanation can no longer work. So
No.
he meant what he
Do
did. He
people-
meant what he said.
When Superman came out, it was almost hard to explain to people who were over the moon with that movie about the world building is fucked. But this is just the first step of many that's going to show the problems. Because you're trapped if you make Supergirl. Either she didn't know, which is almost impossible to write, or she did know and she didn't say anything to Superman the whole time. Which doesn't really make any sense. How long has she known Superman before the events of Superman? Do we know that?
They don't
She
even-
had to know him for a while.
They don't even say so. Like they say that she was there and then left. But it's like she's
Yeah, 'cause, like-
23 now, and when
Yeah,
she
'cause-
left, she looked like she was like in her 20s. So it's like, how long has she been there? I don't know.
Well, yeah, because one of the questions here is,
Well, I guess we'll never know what the question is.
Yeah.
He seemed very
It's
serious
frozen.
about
It's
it.
too hot.
If it's the Tom King one, no, she wasn't a baby.
Yeah,
sorry,
she
my
was- what was-
internet glitched out there for a second. No, she seems to be like a teenager or something. And they like the pause.
He sits so still when he sits like that.
He's like a wax museum person.
It's James Gunn, bro. He's trying to cut off his internet.
He's like, stop.
He's tired of it. He's
So-
like, how
Yeah,
dare you make
she
fun of
was-
my flagellance cup? You know?
She was easily a teenager, and then when she got there, she definitely knew who and what he was, or what he was quote unquote supposed to be while he was there. She didn't know, like, Creeker's right. It would have been so interesting to actually see that story of her figuring out who he is, that he doesn't know, that he's not actually the evil guy she had in her mind, and then go from there. Like, they left the best story on the table, and I don't know why.
I know why. Because Tom King's comic, when it came out, I think that the idea of it was to show that Supergirl could stand on her own 2 feet. And the whole idea was to distance herself from Clark and from Superman, and Lobo's not in that comic. And I think James Gunn thought that he would be this big hero that does this feminist movie or whatever he was thinking, but by the time it came around and the executives looked at it and he knew it was a stinker, they ended up bringing the men that they didn't want to use in the... You get what I'm saying? He ended up doing the very thing he didn't want to do, which is bring Lobo and Clark and make them, at least that you see them throughout the movie, to give some kind of balance here.
But at least Superman didn't show up to save her ass, you know what I mean?
I guess so. I don't like that they're always making him look stupid. I mean, Disparu said a sentence the other day that I heard him on somewhere saying it, that this is the only version where Superman always acts like Clark Kent when he's Superman.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't get it.
Well, that makes sense. It's like, you know, when we watched He-Man, there was like, when He-Man was He-Man, he suddenly was smarter and had better strategy in his head and was stronger and could do things because a sorceress gave him power. Like, he didn't even earn the power. She gave him power.
Well,
and then suddenly, when he's Prince Adam, he's like a dopey, do-nothing, goofy boy. Like, even though he's a man, he came to pick up a barbell. Like, come on! Like, I'd rather have the character.
Full disclosure, I didn't really enjoy that He-Man movie. I know everybody liked it, but it wasn't my cup of tea. But I'm not going to be angry if people liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I think, damn, what was I going to say? I forgot.
About the Clark Kent Superman dichotomy where he doesn't have any Superman in him. He's just Clark Kent.
Because it's like Superman is Clark Kent, but when he's Superman, you know what I mean? He has to lead, he has to be strong, you know, and when he puts on the Clark Kent, even though that is who he is, he does kind of like over-exaggerated a bit.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit.
Well, he's
because
30
he has
in the movie.
He has to throw you off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's 30 and he acts like he's like a kid.
Yeah, he has ditzy and shit. I don't like that. Because like I
No.
do like where he's like shucks and like he's kind of like a Boy Scout. Okay, that's fine or whatever. But when you're Superman, you got to be a little more, you know, manly.
I've always thought the Boy Scout part is like more so on a idealistic morals level rather than a naive sort of young person. Because like he's a scout leader when it comes to the sort of the way that he'll operate and how he'll, you know, treat people and stuff. Someone's gonna ask though, because like I'm still catching up with some people in chat with this lore here. So, planet's blowing up, and Supergirl's faction have the science to be able to break off from the planet and survive on their own for a bit, but then they eventually succumb.
Right.
So what happens to her? Do they launch her off in a ship before they all die?
They do.
So yeah, before they all get poisoned and die, they launch her off in a ship. Which, you know, there's 2 plot holes. It's like, so you're the only ones that were able to section yourselves off. If you had this technology, why didn't y'all already plan for the inevitable just in case it happened? Because Jor-El was talking about this already. You would have multiple of these, and then it's like, okay, if you're going to be making this pod to get your daughter out, why would you not then try to make other pods to get other children out at that point if you want to keep the race going? You know, it starts to get
I'm curious
starts to get
because
stupid.
why did they do any of? Why wouldn't you just have it so that her ship launched off the planet when it exploded? Why did they add all this stuff with the?
She wasn't born yet. Like, she was still pregnant. The mother was still pregnant or something when...
I think I can answer Mahler's question, at least in my opinion. I feel like, I don't know, different lores do different things, but I think in this specific movie, what they wanted to do is that they wanted to be that Clark is a privileged male, whereas, you know, Kara, she didn't have that kind of privilege of going as a baby when she doesn't remember all of this and growing up in Kansas. She had to witness her parents sick and all these people dying. And then after she suffered, like Clark never suffered and went through all this PTSD, and she's the victim here. She was then sent to Earth to have to look at him with his kind of happy-go-lucky, privileged vibe where she's like the real victim. Now, you can all get upset at me, but that's what he was going for. I'm 99% sure that's what they're going for.
I mean, it kind of makes sense though, because they have that scene where she's talking about the flashback and how Clark is like light, his heart is light, and hers is heavy. They also have the beginning of the film, how the little girl's family gets killed because the stupid son jumps out and tries to do a prank, and then he gets slaughtered. Like, so you know,
what the hell?
That's a weird
A poor
thing.
kid?
Apologies if I'd missed the last couple of minutes of conversation there. I had some internet problems in my area.
We got to
Seems
finally
back
be
up.
honest and stop praising the movie, but now that you're back, we'll go back to criticizing
Yeah.
the film.
Yeah.
Best
But-
goddamn movie ever.
But the one thing that I would say, I don't think this is, if this was meant to be a feminist movie, I mean, I really don't like feminism. I can't even say the word feminism. If this was meant to be a feminist movie, they didn't do a very good job with it because they just, it fell apart every 5 minutes with any
I don't know,
feminist
like,
theme
they-
that started to come up.
They portrayed the main character as a lonely, bitter, drunk loser. So, I mean, maybe it was a better representation of feminism than we realized.
Can we please talk about the dual son thing? Because
Yes!
Yes.
I wanted to talk about that.
My whole audience audibly gasped or like groaned when that moment happened. Because, okay, so for context, after they do the whole battle on the planet, which we didn't even talk about the fact that they're stealing like little girls to breed them or whatever. That's just like a throwaway
This is
line
a
that
whole
they
nother
mentioned.
topic there. Yeah.
Yeah. So after they get done with that and they leave, they figure out, or Kara figures out that somebody knows where they went to. So she gets transported there, and somehow, some way, the little girl is able to get on the transport ship again, because that's the second time she teleported onto a ship and nobody knew about it. But when they get there, there's a green sun, which obviously is pretty lethal for Kryptonians. You know, it's like the opposite effect of the yellow sun, right?
Yep.
So it's like, oh, they're smart. I'm starting to think, I'm like, oh, so the villains are actually smart. They're like, they went to a planet with a green sun, or with a green sun, so that Kara would have to, like, I don't know, find some kind of ingenuity to like figure out how to get over this and save the day or something like that. But no, it's a binary star system. So not only does it have a green sun, it has a fucking yellow sun. So it's like, wait, you went to a system with a green and a yellow sun? Like, what did you think you would just get rid of her during the green sun? Why didn't you just go to one with just a green sun?
Yeah.
So when she's
Exactly.
about, oh no, she does die. I'm sorry. She
Or-
does
That's
die.
why.
Like,
That's why
it's
this
like-
plot is just full of like these convenient happenstances where it's like, right, they've got this like ultimate weapon that will kill her. It's a green sun. They've marooned her on a planet with a green sun, so she's powerless, and it's like being exposed to uranium or something for us. It'll make her sick, and then she'll die eventually. Okay, it's slow, but it's effective, I guess. But it's like, no, there's a convenient yellow sun that's going to come out in a few hours, and that's going to charge her back up to full power, and then she can become Supergirl. She can become the hero with, you know. And
But wasn't
this
that
is where
in
a
the
smarter.
comics? Isn't that?
That is in the
from
comic, I think.
comics?
I get
what I
that
know.
like the Kryptonians are completely dependent on the power of various suns to like alter their powers, but it's a slightly goofy premise, and like when you abuse it too much as the core of your story, then everything loses meaning because you end up with questions like what Kada was asking there, like, well, why didn't they just take her to a system that only has a green sun?
Because it's like,
Why-
is the
why-
sun made of kryptonite? I'm not understanding what's happening.
I don't know
you
why it's
like,
green.
You
Yeah.
start having those questions where it's like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out what you're putting down, but then it gets worse when it's like you went to one with a fucking
Right.
yellow sun too. So it's like,
Right.
And
you're
they-
double dumb.
There's
And
no
they-
explanation. Like, they don't explain anything. She's just on that green planet. And also,
Right.
as to what Drinker and you were saying, Kada, couldn't they have just, like, beat her to death while she was, like, gasping for air when the green thing was there? And then by the time the yellow thing comes out, it doesn't matter anymore, you know?
Well,
No,
see,
they're going to
I'm
put her
thinking-
into an easily escapable situation featuring an overly elaborate death.
I thought it would be
Dr.
something
Evil.
like that, like where she, like, you know, she passes out. Oh, they're gonna pick her up and take her to the Ravager, not Ravager. So it's like, okay, y'all, here's the bounty, give me the money, and y'all do what you want with her or whatever. And then she has to figure out how to get out of that. But no, little girl just picks her up and hides her in a cave. It's like, what? What are we doing, bro? Like, I'm not understanding.
Yeah. There's later
Yeah.
as
It's
well.
right.
Like, Krem shoots her with kryptonite arrows, which like infects her blood, and you're like, oh shit, she's screwed now. But then she just kind of gets better. Like Lobo shows up, and then she just flies up towards the sun, and it just heals her, and she's fine then. Like again, I don't get like, well, what's the effectiveness of these things? Is it actually a weapon or is it just a minor inconvenience for her?
Well, it just makes the character, like, it makes you not interested in her because she's not really overcoming anything. It's just happenstance. Like, she's not really figuring nothing out.
What's the challenge? Like, what's the lesson she learns from all of this? What's the sacrifice that she has to make, or the difficult choice, or whatever? There's really nothing. Like, she's pretty much the same throughout the movie. She doesn't really learn anything new. She doesn't have to give anything up. It's just, meh. This is what I mean. Like, the script just doesn't seem to go anywhere. It doesn't have a point. There's no point to this movie. I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to take from it by the time it's all said and done.
The only thing you're supposed to learn from this film is save your pets. That's it.
Yeah.
Because it's not revenge bad because she takes revenge. It's not overcoming obstacles because she's not overcoming any obstacles. You know, it's not be kind because she's a bitch throughout the whole film. So it's like, it's just save your pets. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, yeah, because there was a point here. Girls can do it and be their own hero, duh. Yeah, I mean, in a way, they did make a point of this in the marketing of saying, like, oh, you can be your own hero, and, like, it's not about being some paragon of virtue that has to live up to other people's expectations. It can just be about being messy and, like, a bit of a failure or whatever. But as long as you're a hero to yourself, that's all that matters. And again, it sort of misses the point of what a superhero is. It's someone who's better than a regular person, who's got more power than a normal person, and they have to decide how they're going to use that power, you know, for good or for evil, and that's going to take them down a different path. But to say, well, no, you've got all this fabulous power and you've got the ability to do incredible things, but, like, hey, as long as you're happy with yourself, that's what really matters. No, that's not really how responsibility works, I'm afraid.
Isn't it weird that she didn't want to wear the suit the whole movie? Even the Tom King comic that this is based on, which isn't very good, she wears throughout most of the run of the comics, she wears the suit in similar situations that we see in the movie, but in the movie only at the very end. She hates the suit, she doesn't like it, and at the end she puts it on, and it's supposed to be some big, like, you know, cathartic moment or whatever, but it's just nonsense.
I think we all know the reason why she doesn't wear the suit throughout most of the movie. It's because it's too feminine, and it's she looks at it and just thinks that's uncomfortable and it's impractical, and I don't want to wear it. I just want to slouch about in my hoodie or my vomit stained clothes that I've been wearing for the past week, and my big trench coat, because that just fits with the vibe, I guess. And again, it's all about, you know, not having to live up to people's expectations and just be your own thing.
Speaking of vomit, isn't there a scene? Remind me, because I'm now thinking, do I remember this correctly? That we see her sitting on a toilet and peeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens,
But we don't
right?
see her peeing. She's just sitting on the toilet. We know
Yeah,
she's doing it.
You kind of see it from an angle where
Little
she's just
bit.
leaning against the wall. Yeah, but it's like I could have done without that. Really.
They were just. I mean, that's James Gunn's.
Yeah, that feels like a James
That's
Gunn
James
thing.
Gunn. Like he's got bathroom humor, right? Everywhere he goes, he's like throwing bathroom humor out.
Yeah.
But
there's a whole sequence where she fights people while throwing up, as well.
Well, that's
you guys forget about
trying
that?
to just so people understand she's been poisoned and she's
Yes.
trying to get the poison out of her system. So that's what she's trying to do. It's disgusting. I don't like it, but Europe is gross. But regarding the suit, first of all, I actually did like that because I thought that the way she had her suit still neatly like folded up, so some respect, tucked in a bag, okay, thrown in a corner on the ship on the floor, not so much. And I think that really did show she wasn't ready to wear that suit. She didn't think of herself as a hero. She didn't want that responsibility. That was Clark's thing. He gave her a suit to show that she was a good person or that she was a good guy, whatever. And I do think that there was something there, and whether I think they cut out so many bits and pieces in this movie that we just don't see the progression like we should have. But I think that helping Ruthie helped her. And so once she got to that certain point, it's like when you put your boots on and you get to work. That was her putting that suit on. She was getting to work. She finally embraced who Clark saw her to be and who she finally saw herself as, and she accepted it in that moment. And I felt like that thought line, that through line there, played out in that final scene where she and Clark saw each other, where they both arrived home at the same time wearing the suits. And the look on Clark's face was kind of weird surprise, but he didn't ask her about it because he's gonna let her get into it herself. But I do think that was a moment where suddenly she found herself. Suddenly she maybe trusted herself to be a hero.
I get that that's what the movie was going for. I get
it was what it was going for. Whether it succeeded is a different story.
Yeah. And I think that's where I would go with the bulk of this movie. Like, there's some fairly basic, well-worn concepts of like the jaded hero who has to like rediscover their passion for what they do and find a way back to become some kind of real hero again. Okay, fine. I don't think it really should apply to like a 23-year-old girl who's barely done anything with her life yet. It shouldn't be possible to be that cynical at that age, but it is what it is. Ultimately, though, none of this can escape the reality that this movie is, unfortunately, slop. It's superhero slop of the worst kind. It's a cheap knockoff of James Gunn movies, probably overseen by James Gunn himself. It's got nothing really that should draw you in. There's nothing special here that would make me think, oh yeah, this is worth my time.
It's on the same level of the Marvels. Like, it's just
probably yeah.
I think it's better than the Marvels. I mean, it's hard to get that low.
It's in the same league, I think.
Hard.
They got there.
They did. By the way, doesn't she dress like Star-Lord throughout the movie? She has the headphones and the jacket is kind of like Star-Lord. I don't get why he's trying to copy his own thing. I mean, he's not doing a better copy of it. It's a worse copy.
And it's not even him that's doing it. Like, I don't know if the people making this movie just thought, like, we've got to, pay homage to James Gunn and kneel at the altar of Gunnisms and just, like, work as many of his tropes into this movie as we possibly can.
That's exactly what they did. I swear to God, like, every corner of this movie has his fingerprint on it. It's one of the reasons I'm really angry at James Gunn right now, because I'm sure as all the viewers are saying right now in the chat, like, I definitely see what this film wanted to be. I see what this film should have been. I take detailed notes as I'm sitting in the theater, and when I stitch those notes together at the end, I see the outline of what it was supposed to be. But then James Gunn, he gets in there with his stupid ass ideas and throws up all over the film and cuts out all the little pieces that stitch it together, because I don't think, and I mean, I don't think he trusts men to watch this film and not get all weirded out about emotions and won't be able to follow the emotional side of the story. I don't think he trusts guys to watch this film and not bash it. And I think that he should not be in charge of this universe if he can't trust the fans to understand what he's doing.
I don't think he's going to be in charge for much longer, because this
I don't
kind of
either.
brings me on to what I wanted to ask you guys about. Like, it's pretty much unanimously agreed amongst the critics and so on, even like Variety here, like their review was scathing. Normally they would praise movies like this to the high heavens, but they said here, Supergirl is a super horrendous comic book movie with the worst script that I can remember, reads Variety's review from Owen Gleiberman. James Gunn said he wasn't going to go into production on any movie until the script was rock solid. For that was the overriding problem with the superhero overkill era. The films had lousy scripts which served as grids for layered visual effects. Gunn was right to want to take the comic book genre back to basics of a well-structured screenwriting. So what has he done with his second DC outing? He's given us a comic book movie with the worst script I can remember. That's from Variety. Damn. But yeah, it brings me on to what I was going to say, right? So it's probably not going to do great from a critical perspective. I don't think the word of mouth is going to be great, and I think we can all agree it's going to flop big time. And so where the fuck does DC even go from here?
Nowhere.
Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah, he's gonna have Banner tomorrow. That's gonna be the last film. 100%. There's nothing after that.
Yeah.
I'm curious, can he fix it? Can he fix it with Man of Tomorrow?
No.
They tried to do damage
He's got
control.
no will to fix it, as we've demonstrated here. He's doubling down on the
Yeah.
Kal-El space harem bullshit. He won't abandon his course, and I don't think he has even the creative ability to fix it if he wanted to. If you said to James Gunn, do something that's not a Guardians of the Galaxy clone, I think he would just look at you like with blank eyes, like, what do you mean? I don't understand.
But what's his fascination with these space harems? We haven't talked about the girls. We haven't talked about the children, the wives, as you might say. Like, he is obsessed with this idea of child harems, and I'm like,
I don't know. You don't remember those tweets that he put
Yeah.
20 years ago? I think I know what's going
Gunn's
on
got a
with
dark
that.
past, man.
I think I know why he keeps hinting at that.
it would have been so easy. Guys, I'm so sorry, but as a woman, I fucking had it with all of these girl movies where the girls are always the sex scapegoats, where, hey, let's just go, whatever. They could have made it anything. Why did it have to be that?
I think,
Because the patriarchy, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right.
They're stealing children that are women for the men. They explicitly say, to progress their all-male race, and then all the girls look at each other in disgust. They did that on purpose.
I think, like, to the point that you made earlier, and we talked about, this isn't necessarily a girl bossy feminist type movie, as much as other things like Captain Marvel might be, but they are gunning for a female audience.
They're gunning. No pun intended.
And I think part of that is like, okay, if you're going to do female empowerment, then what you have to also do is like female subjugation in order to break free of it. And this was, I don't agree with that. I'm just saying that was probably their dumb as fuck thinking behind it.
It really is. That's not what women want. Like, get your head out of your ass, James. That is not what women want in a film. We just want a woman who can do stuff that makes sense and has a good story. Like, is that so hard? Why?
I think we're gonna have to have some serious conversations, not here, but like as an audience about like, well, how much of your potential audience for films like these is even going to be made up of women? Because I don't think it's as big as they think it is, right? The last female-centric superhero movie that did really well, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, was Wonder Woman. Okay, and that was what, 2017? We're getting on for like 10 years since that came out, and every other time they've tried to do it, it's failed. And maybe part of the reason that movie was successful is, well, Gal Gadot played the character pretty well because she was basically just being herself. She was also really beautiful and very feminine by a normal standard, and men and women can both enjoy that. But with something like this, with the Marvels, with Captain Marvel, all that, you've got a female protagonist who's not feminine, who's just trying to be like a shitty parody of a man, but with all the toxicity that you would expect, but like projected as if it's a virtue, and people don't like it. It doesn't resonate with people, and this is why they've tried it over and over again, man, but it's failed pretty much every time over the past decade, and I think it's going to do it again.
Well, I think you have to get a talented director and a talented writer who've done things that stand out in significant ways. I mean, whatever people might think or not think about Wonder Woman or Gal Gadot, at least the director on that film, she'd done some solid work before she directed that film. So she knew how to direct at least a World War II movie, or a movie with, you know, soldiers and that kind of plot line in it. I just don't know what this director was trying to do and what this writer was trying to do, because it got cut to pieces.
I think it was either Kada or Price of Reason who mentioned, like, Craig Gillespie, who directed this, like, out of the last 8 movies he's done, 7 of them have been flops. Sorry, gentlemen, I can't remember which one.
It was Price of Reason. And right. Don't forget his last one, which was Cruella.
Yes, exactly.
It's one of the worst films I've ever seen, where her mom dies by a gang of Dalmatians.
That's amazing that happens.
Like,
did you guys?
You're gonna get me to side with the character who wants to skin puppies and turn them into handbags.
But
like,
his
you're
mom
not
was
gonna
killed
do it,
by
man.
Dalmatians, dude.
The gang of Dalmatians pushed her mom off a cliff. You don't understand. Off a cliff.
I wanted to ask you guys if you saw, I saw this article that Peter Safran went to one of those industry trades and said that David Ellison, the new Paramount Warner Brothers boss, loves James Gunn. Did you see that article? I swear, I know. I thought I was imagining it, but I think such an article exists. For the past 24 hours, that they announced that like David Ellison is a fan of James Gunn's work.
That could easily lead into, we love him so much, we want him to have more artistic freedom by working elsewhere.
Dude, people have always been excited about the arc being it goes back to Marvel eventually. James Gunn.
Yeah.
How fucking hilarious that would be.
Because the thing is, right, how many of these flops are we going to sit through before, like, not us, but like how many are Warner Brothers going to sit through before they have to say, no, this guy's just losing us hundreds of millions of dollars. We can't keep doing this. Like, from a purely financial point of view, it's a waste of time. Because,
what they need to do...
This is a self-inflicted problem as well, right? Yeah. Okay, starting with Superman. Well, technically, he started with, what, Creature Commandos?
Nah.
Plus about a million other shitty, like, niche projects that he wanted to do that were just pet projects of his that have never come to fruition. But he muddied the waters right off the bat by leading with, like, weak as fuck things that no one cared about. We got Peacemaker Season 2, which, again, was a disaster. We got Superman, which was a marginal success at best, and that was, like, literally their heavy hitter. That was the best they had. And now what? Our follow-up movie is going to be Supergirl, and like again a niche derivative character that has to have a strong franchise around her in order to support her if she doesn't have it. Of course it was going to flop. Even if it was a half decent movie, it would have flopped just from lack of interest.
And
you got Clayface.
Just to be clear as well, like Superman, awful foundation for the universe as a movie, but secondly, we'll be finding out just how successful it was eventually. It won't be too much longer.
Yep. And as Kada mentioned, Clayface, right? A movie which was done on a pretty tight budget, which is fair enough, and maybe it'll turn a profit for them, a small one, I suspect. It's not going to move the needle, though, and it's not going to help their franchise. No one's going to give a shit about Clayface.
It's so niche. But the thing is, this is what, I don't know what happened to writers in Hollywood, but they need to, like, pay someone a wage to look at these scripts with the director and James Gunn not around, and just look at the beats, see what pays off, see where the emotion goes, see if things follow. And if you can't do that with your script before you go to production, you shouldn't go to production. If you have to cut it to shit after a screening, you have failed, and you have not put the people in the jobs that need to be in the jobs. And
James Gunn famously said, "We will not put a single script into production unless we're 100% happy with it." What
Yeah,
a
didn't he
fucking
say-
lie that was.
Didn't he say he reads the scripts? He said he reads them before they go into production to make sure.
Well, it should. I mean,
right.
They could hire the drinker, you know? They could hire you to tell James Gunn if the script is good or not, no?
I
mean,
mean,
you think
pretty
they're
much
doctors.
anyone with common sense, and they would probably tell him,
dude.
"No, you shouldn't make this."
Like
Right.
anybody with eyes would go after Superman. You should not go Supergirl.
Yeah.
You know, you should
My
probably
advice
do
would-
your big three.
That's the thing, right? On a strategic level, my advice would have been, never mind Supergirl for now, right? You're in phase 1 of like the MCU, your equivalent of it, right? You've done your Superman, okay, it wasn't great, but you've done it, right? Let's now get a Wonder Woman movie, let's get a Batman movie out, then let's have some kind of team up with all of them. We'll try and do an Aquaman movie or something as well, right? And then we'll have our big blowout team up movie or Justice League or whatever, and then when we get to phase 2, that's when we can roll out our Supergirls and clay faces and stuff, the more niche stuff, when we've got like a nice strong foundation to support it. Without that, these movies are dead in the water because the landscape has changed so fucking much in the past 10 years. Superhero movies have to work hard now.
Taking all bets, how likely do you think we will ever see James Gunn's iteration of Batman?
I don't think it'll happen.
No.
I don't
At
think
this
it's
point,
I
no.
don't think so.
James
Yeah.
Gunn's out after Man of
It would
Tomorrow.
have already been happening if that was the case.
Hey man, he turned
I
up in
don't-
Creature Commandos as a silhouette, so... There
If
you go.
anything, I think
Yeah.
they'll make a nod to it in Clayface, like, hey, Batman, and it's not gonna work.
The fact that Matt Reeves got to make his second Batman movie right after Superman was disappointing at the box office, in spite of all the nonsense that's being said in the press, I always felt that that was the moment that at Warner Brothers, even before the whole merger, whatever it is, they said James Gunn's Superman isn't making enough money. Matt Reeves made more money. He also did the Penguin. Let's just let him do another Batman movie.
But maybe we're, like, I think with DC at least, we're moving outside the era of like extended universes, and it's going to become just solo movies. So let Matt Reeves do his Batman movies, like maybe do fucking a random solo Wonder Woman movie. We've got the Penguin TV series that's gotten all the critical applause. Maybe that's the future for them. I don't know.
You
But
know,
what they're
it-
doing right now, it just doesn't work. And
They
like,
need a
throwing more money
reset.
at the problem doesn't help. Yeah, they need a full reset, and I think they, more than anything, they need to let it rest for a while.
Yeah.
But
You know,
all the
'cause
big
this,
IPs
this
do.
half-hearted, all this
All
is
the
like
big
another half-hearted course correction. This is exactly what they did that gave us like Black Adam and Blue Beetle and all that stuff. Like it was keeping somewhat the chronology of the series, but also trying to take it in a totally new direction. That's what this is, because James Gunn kept a bunch of like holdovers from the previous
Yeah.
iteration of DCU. Funnily enough, projects that he personally was involved in.
Well, and Peacemaker's scuttled now. It's over. It's like, so was it really worth it? Like, desperately clinging on to this old piece that makes the whole universe awkwardly start with multiverse and insane universe shit, just to be able to keep us an extra season of a show that, let's be honest, no one really gives a fuck about?
It was
His
worth
wife
it
was
for
on
him
the
to
show.
get. It was worth it for him to watch his wife get nailed by John Cena.
Yeah.
Apparently,
He
That's
filmed
the way
those
James
scenes
Gunn
with
is.
passion, okay?
You gotta watch his wife kiss a big grown ass man, you know. He likes that. It's
Yeah.
anybody with a working brain could just see it. It's like, yeah, that's not gonna work, bro. Like, what are you talking about? You're gonna start your new universe with Creature Commandos. Are you fucking high? It's like, what are you thinking about? He deserves this.
bizarre.
And I stopped caring about James Gunn the moment where he said The Flash was one of the best movies he ever seen. That's when I knew he was full of shit.
Oh my god. Yeah. No.
Let me answer.
It-
Let me answer a few super chats, by the way, because they're piling up pretty
Just to be
rapidly.
clear, real quick, a lot of people misconception. They think he said this is one of the best like comic book movies or superhero movies. He said one of the greatest films ever made.
Yes.
James Gunn lies. We need to compile like all the bullshit things he said over the years and like have a super cut of it. Let me do a few super chats here. The noted Chud tax. I appreciate that, Scottish Ranger. It's like, well, you have heard of me. I am a noted Chud now. Yeah. Angry Joe pinned his own comment on his own Supergirl review video just so he could see that Nerdrotic and the audience. Angry Joe continues to spiral into being a lol cow. I think he's rapidly descended into that territory at this point. It's just hilarious how he spent like days crashing out over people criticizing Supergirl, and then when he does his own review, it's like, yeah, this movie's dog shit, but it's okay when I say it.
He's a special guy.
He is, yeah. So, on the Scots in Boston, no one is mentioning that they kept the bars open super late for our esteemed guests. Yeah, what's funny about that is when the England team, the England supporters showed up, they were like, nah, the bars close at 10 around here. Sorry, guys. Send them home.
You know the drill, Deltas. Let's shut them out.
It's funny.
If they regularly stayed open until 3 or 4 in the morning for us locals, we would also drink them dry. Just saying. Aye, big talk.
Big talk.
Not like that until you actually get there and start drinking the beers, eh? Imagine if the MCU started with Captain America, a Punisher show, Captain Carter, and then Sandman. Yeah, that's what this is like. Also, a few years ago, there was a successful Iron Man movie followed by a quality Mandarin show. What is Gunn doing?
That's how stupid this is.
I think he is the pinnacle of the Peter principle. He's elevated himself to the top of his inability.
Yeah. He has risen to his level of incompetence. This one here for $100. So thank you very much. So you know what? That earns you a round of applause. Fun fact, Alan Tudyk said on his podcast that he was currently in Georgia filming Superman 2 playing Robot 4, aka Gary. I don't think Green Lantern will be in it since Nathan Fillion didn't know about the filming. James Gunn is directing, so I guess his career isn't over yet. Well, yeah, we knew that. Like, that was going to be Man of Tomorrow. So,
yeah, he's desperately getting Man of Tomorrow scrambled together. He's hoping to build up enough Superman that James Gunn's like needs to be kept. You know, like if it does well, it's not gonna though. And then of course we got the Batman 2 on the way, which I believe is very likely to embarrass Superman via box office. At which point Warner's gonna be like, so this Matt Reeves guy, he seems like he's knows what he's doing. And James gonna be like, can I have Batman now? And they'll be like, you cannot have Batman now. They have.
It's just Batman. The idea of a James Gunn Batman movie. It's just absurd.
It's terrifying.
Patently
my
absurd.
God.
It'd be like putting Taika Waititi in charge of it.
Instead of them getting gunned down in an alleyway, it would happen like in a bar or something. It's gonna be stupid.
Or they trip and fall down some stairs in slow motion, and there'll be like a pop song playing over it.
Batman be cracking jokes. God. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I just checked my local theatre's Friday evening showings for Supergirl and Toy Story 5. In a shock to no one, there were triple seats sold for Toy Story in its second Friday, then Supergirl. Way to go, Millie and James. This movie's opening at second place at the box office, isn't it?
If that.
I think we know that, yeah.
I'm actually sad about it. You know, I love superhero movies. I love them. And there's so much about this movie I wanted to like. Supergirl's not my favorite character to start with, but I still really wanted to like it. And there were things in there that I liked. I tried to be super fair in my review, but every time I think about it, I hate James Gunn a little bit more. And I'm not sure that's the way it's supposed to work when you put out a movie.
Even the fan screening that I went to, which was like sort of this early screening that you watch with fans, it was a big theater, and there were maybe, I'm not kidding, maybe 7 people there in the entire theater. Jesus. As much as The Flash was a bad movie, when I went to a similar event with The Flash, packed, full, there wasn't one seat available for The Flash for the fans. Most of it was available for Supergirl.
Yeah, mine had about 25 people in it.
Mine was full, but
I'm not like broadly sad about this just because ever since he announced his slate and James Gunn's like decline as a creator, I've just been desperate for everyone to assess him for what he's actually like capable of currently, and this is helping immensely. Like you already seen the reaction online. Those people are starting to think again about like, you know, Superman as well. Like it's not, you know, combined, and it's like, yeah, once Man of Tomorrow comes out and fumbles completely, because that's going to be Superman on steroids for how much worse it is in terms of like a production, right? It's rushed. even more so, with a completely baffling world that makes no fucking sense anymore. A Superman that's not Superman. A cast of like fucking 30 characters he's gonna stuff in there to hopefully like build off roots into a huge universe. It's gonna cost him so big he's gonna lose the DC universe. And his power he never really earned, as far as I'm concerned. He got that like through extreme luck. So yeah, this movie just revealing more and more of like the reality is absolutely fine with me. Obviously, I would prefer good movies are made. I just never thought that this one was gonna be, considering what we knew about the guy in charge, the director, the writer. It's like it didn't have any hope, this thing.
The just for context as well, so apparently the forecast now for the opening weekends for Supergirl is in the 40 million range. It was originally 55 million. That is dire.
It's doing worse than the Flash.
This could end up doing the Marvel's numbers.
I think they should re-release the Chris Reeves Superman and see what it does. I bet it would.
I think it would do better, honestly.
I even think that Helen Slater's Supergirl would do better than this. I actually like that movie better than this one. Say what you want.
I like Helen Slater.
So
Let's
Yeah,
put it that way.
At least they cast the right person in the role, if nothing else.
Yeah. Angry Joe needs to take a hint from James Rolfe and realize he has the blessing of old guard status on YouTube. He needs to shut the fuck up about politics and just release his content. Apparently he can't now. He's just so mad. Ironically, yeah, the thing that actually made Angry Joe angry was not even a movie, it was a fucking YouTuber.
It does feel like we need a retirement home for older generation YouTubers sometimes that need to be ushered into. It's like, thank you, Angry Joe, for your contributions. I think it's time for you to just have a sit down.
You'd think, yeah, you'd think that like after being on YouTube for so long, he knows how the game is played, and it's like, don't become this guy, man.
Yeah, the guy that made a career dunking on the video game industry for the dumb things they would do was trying to put a shield up for like these multi-billion-dollar corporations for a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fucker was like, go watch it, go support it. It's like, no.
Why? Yeah. Support shit corporate slop because
I like Superman. You should go watch it because I like Superman. Bro, fuck you. That's how I feel. What are you talking about?
I will give DC props that I'm a little YouTuber, and they let me go on the press pass. Whereas Disney, the jackasses, I'm just not good enough for Disney. So,
well, for
Disney,
the love of God,
yeah.
don't tell DC that you've run this open bar. He'll get you barred. Regarding Disclosure Day, would Spielberg have been better off using his non-union Mexican equivalent, Senor Spielberg? We only saw a few clips, but a Burns for All Seasons looked fucking epic. Doesn't he do like a remake of The Greatest Story Ever Told or something, where he's playing God?
Is he doing Lawrence of Arabia or whatever, and he falls off his horse and he says, we did 20 takes and that was the best one?
Yeah. What's this? You've been stuck watching Supergirl while YouTube's been shoving Wallace and Gromit in my face. Not that I'm complaining that something good is being pushed to me. Yeah, enjoy that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you're having a good time.
Yeah. Kryptonians live to about 180 on Krypton, but can live around 50,000 years under a yellow sun. Every day Kara spends boozing costs her around a year of her and Krypto's lives. Well, you know, it's a price she's willing to pay, I guess. Yeah.
Wait, Christo should live longer because don't dogs live like 7 years for every 1 year that we live? So he'll be like 500 million years old.
It's fine. Crypto's CGI anyway, so.
And if we start talking about time, that movie's definitely going to start falling apart. Right. I don't think time on that planet the same as the time as that other planet, and I don't even want to talk about it.
And to be
Let's
fair,
not talk about the physics.
I don't think we're gonna have to worry about Millie Alcott aging out of the role. The role's not gonna be around long enough for that.
I feel
what a
bad
crazy
for
name.
her. She didn't want this stuff to happen, and she's young and stupid. I mean, I feel bad for her. I know everybody in the comments is gonna be like, Aaron's a nice person. I can't help it. I like people.
You know
She's
what?
a grown woman. She can take care of herself.
I don't feel bad for her at all. Not even a
people have drawn comparisons with Rachel Zegler, and I think that's unfair. I don't think she's on the same level there. I think what she really is like a young, impressionable, naive actress who's suddenly been thrust into like this big spotlight, and she's getting asked all these questions about like, you know, is this a character, a queer icon and stuff, and she probably doesn't want to say, well, no, clearly not, that's stupid, because then that'll offend like all the alphabet people, and like that'll start another big shitstorm online. So she tried to give a somewhat diplomatic answer. She sounded like she was more drunk than me when she was doing it, to be fair.
She probably was.
Stumbled her way through it, and like it's been a little bit, you know, blown out of proportion. I don't think she's as mean-spirited as someone like Rachel Zegler. I just think she's not been very well media trained, which is DC's fault. And it's also their fault for putting these fucking stupid influencers in front of her and asking her questions that have got nothing to do with the movie. You know, how about you just ask her, like, what's it like playing
100%.
this character? What's it like doing your own stunts or whatever it might be? You know, none of this other crap, because like, who's that appealing to? Like 5% of the population?
I mean, don't they vet these people? Like,
They
come
They
on.
do.
all
That's the
these people.
problem.
Yeah,
They choose
love
them specifically. That's the problem.
And the thing is, it's only like 5 minutes training. If you told me to train her, what I would do is I'd say, listen, whoever asked you, if queer like it, if men, women, whatever you gotta ask, just say, I love this movie. I'm so excited about this role. I think there's something here for everybody. And I'm so excited for all the fans to be able to see it. I gotta go. I'll see you later. That's all she has to say to any question. And that's it. And she
You
always
should be
looks great.
Supergirl.
I
It's
could.
very easy.
It is. They just need to teach them the subtle art of deflecting questions. As you know, Price of Reason was pointing out there, it's really easy when you know how to do it. Just keep the positivity going, subtly deflect the question away, and just talk about how great the movie is and how excited you are to be there. That's it. Job done. Yeah, Drinker, I need to know why there are 2 totems of foreskin on your thumbnail for Supergirl. They look like they're foreskin dinner jackets with a foreskin vest. Well, I can't help what they are. I mean, they are the novelty popcorn buckets. No, they're the drinks.
It's the cups. It's the cups.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
drink
You
cups,
drink-
and they're so impactful. I just needed 2 of them in that thumbnail.
You're drinking out of foreskin cups.
Wrap your mouth around that and let the juices flow.
I think they must have designed it with AI. That's what I'm saying.
They knew what
Come
they were
on.
doing with this one.
Hey, another thing James Gunn knew exactly what he was doing with.
Yeah. Stone gave us $20 for nothing, so thanks, man. Let's see. Yeah, I feel like we could have had a pretty good Mummy and Indiana Jones crossover some few decades ago. Oh, what could have been.
Oh,
That
that would have been
interesting,
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Hey,
late
that'd be really
90s,
good,
early
actually.
2000s. That would be kind of cool.
I would have watched
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. This is totally unrelated, but Elon just made Citizen Vigilante available for 48 hours for free on X. Insanity. Yeah, that was UV Ball that released it on X. Just circumventing the restrictions because it's banned in countries like Germany and I think here in the UK as well, because they don't want you to get wrong ideas from watching it. But anyway, yeah, it's apparently available for the next 48 hours. So if you're curious to see what the movie looks like, I guess take a look.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to change the subject away from goddamn Supergirl because, man, this movie's killed my will to live. But Mauler, my friend, you have been watching House of the Dragon Season 3. It's now up and back, and we've got 1 episode so far. So the Season 3 premiere. This is something that's been building up for a couple of years now. The Battle of the... What the
Gullet.
fuck is it called?
Battle of the Gullet.
Battle of the Gullet, yeah. What's
bit
it
of,
like?
A
What's
bit of
your
history
thoughts?
for you. Season 2 got cut off 2 of its last episodes, and because of the writer's strike, they couldn't alter the remaining episodes that they would have had in
Yes.
production to account for that. So the season doesn't end properly, really. It cuts off. It's like the story's clearly leading to a particular end, or at least, a temporary end for a season, and then it just stops. And so for 2 years, everyone's been like, give me my season 2 finale. And they were like, here you go, finally. But now it serves as the opening to season 3. So it's already a really just awkward and weird situation to be in. Everyone's already made memes about how no matter how good this episode's going to be, we will now end up with 4 episodes after it of characters talking about what happened in that episode because they're going to use all the budget in the first one. As opposed to if they'd had it for season 2, could have been a cool ending, and then season 3 gets its own shit. But now everything's out of order thanks to HBO, writer's strike, and of course, the blame goes to the people who make the show as well. However, unfortunately, a lot was riding on this. If the Gullet episode was really, 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 really good, it's still a concern about how everything's going to turn out. But at least it would have been an awesome, fun, action-packed episode. And there are things that people enjoy and like, but I was, because we do coverage of it weekly with Gary, Ryan, Fringy, and Shad, and I was one of the more sour on this episode. I was quite disappointed in many ways. First and foremost, it's like an hour and 10 minutes, I think, the episode, and it takes like 40 minutes to start the battle. It's insane. Whoa. There's so much talking and reestablishing of shit you already know, and just moving people on the board like 1 meter to the left, just to make sure that they can't just kick it off with a battle straight away. And it's just like, maybe you should have, I don't know, but discounting that and lots of scenes in there that I was not particularly fond of. The battle itself, as it rolls out, there's things in it. There's stuff I like. There's lots of really great effects. There's lots of characters making decisions that are kind of fun and cool and interesting. Lots of wacky stuff. But then there's like this huge element. How spoiler are we getting?
we can go for it.
Bring up that bastard Reyna, please. Just rip it off.
There's this borderline ugly duckling member of the fucking Targaryens on the black side, and I don't mean that. I mean the blacks versus the greens before everyone gets confused.
Wait, is this the one that's like emaciated?
She's feeling inadequate because she's the member of the family that has to take care of the babies while everyone else goes and fights and makes decisions. So she's been feeling sad about that for a while. And now, past few episodes in season 2, she was pursuing almost randomly. I get this story, but almost randomly, you get one scene per 3 where she's just running in like the Eyrie, chasing after sheep stealers, a dragon that's had no rider. And she eventually catches up, eventually gets to, she's like, oh, finally, I'm a dragon rider, yay. And then just in the middle of the Gullet battle, she just turns up and starts killing people on both sides. And then, again, spoilers if you don't know about this, she accidentally gets in the way so hard, she gets Jace killed. Which is... He's like one of the few people that everyone still liked. Like, 'cause he's like a good person. And tried to do... It's complicated to explain how annoying that was.
It's such a crazy deviation from the book, too, that it irritated the fuck out of me. Once I seen her get to Dragonstone, which that motherfucker must have been flying fast as hell to get there from the Vale, because that is a long way to go in like a day, but okay. And then I saw her go to the battle. I'm like, please don't let this be the catalyst for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I've read the book, I know what happens. There's a lot of things that are missing in that battle that have really irritated me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically the 2 children not being there and being the reason why Jace is even doing the things that he's doing in the first place, because he's trying to save his fucking brothers or whatever. The other dragons aren't there. Like, there's a lot of things that were irritating me. But when she showed up with that godforsaken dragon, I'm like, this is so contrived, because this is how you're just trying to make interpersonal drama that I don't care for. Like, there's no way you can move forward with this and you not go, we have to kill this bitch, because she just killed the heir of the Iron Throne. And of all the characters that could have been, good kings and queens or whatever, Jace was obviously one of them. So clearly he's going to have to die. Like, he still could have died in a battle. It would have been fine. But when you interject this character in the way that you did, it muddies everything else up, because how do you move forward with that? Because if Rhaenyra doesn't do anything about it, it undermines her more, which it's already going to based off of how the story's, going to play out, which I won't get into much detail on. But it makes your character look more stupid than she already does, because Rhaenyra looks stupid already. So it's like, how are you gonna move that forward? And you just killed your sister's husband. How does that move forward? Where are the kids? Like, there's so much going on. Where it's like, how
and
do
you can believe we're gonna
explain
have
it?
every fucking conversation the next 3-4 episodes of characters
I'm
that
not
we're
looking
talking
forward
about.
to that.
I know, neither am I. It's not the drama I wanted. And like, it was already teleported up there, teleported back, and then it's like she has exactly the amount of control to drive it right next to the battle, right into the battle, but then loses control on which targets it's gonna hit. It's like, and then, you know, we had 3 bonus dragons sitting the fight out, just sitting around, and it's like, why? Like, why? Jace kind of forgot about letting them know that they should move from the God's Eye to the Gullet. I don't know. It's just like, oh well, if only there was source material that might have guided that they should have been. Oh well.
Don't you think this might be why George Martin is like, I'm
might be,
out,
yes.
I'm done. I'm gonna go make
1000%.
Dunkin' Egg today. I'll talk to you guys later.
Like,
Yeah, it's like I'll work on my nice simple stories that are just easy
There's
to
a
reel off.
character missing from the story that, had she been in the
Yeah.
story, you wouldn't even be in this position in the first place to have to make these dumbass changes with Reyna. You know, because that dragon would already been taken care of. You know, and the way that they're changing things, like, I don't even want to get into spoilers for real, but what happens with, you know, the dragon riders later on in the story, I seriously doubt they're gonna go that route. If anybody knows what I'm talking about in the chat with Ulf and, you know, other characters and things, I seriously doubt they're gonna go that route, because you're not even trying to stick to the source material that can work. Like, the one character canonically that's black, you took her out the story to substitute her with Reyna, who's a retard.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you even thinking about, dude? It's
It's sometimes hard to explain, but it's like, you know, going through some kind of like the books. Sometimes they did this in Game of Thrones in the earlier seasons. They'll just be like, oh, they set this up, they did this part of the story is great, and it's like, oh, but they didn't put the little bit of thing right there, and people are like, doesn't matter. It's like, no, but if you don't have that, then you don't have this later, then you don't have this later, and then you don't have this major payoff.
Yeah.
You know, like, are they not going to do the major payoff? And they're like, oh, you know, they might. I did a recording recently about season 4 of Game of Thrones with the Taisha story with Tyrion. How they set it up in season 1, but then they never actually bank on it, and then it has major consequences for Tyrion. Like everyone says, Tyrion just loses his purpose as the show goes on, because they completely cut off the more villainous arc from the book, because they clearly didn't want people to dislike him. So then they cut these pieces out, and it's like, yeah, that damages the whole fucking story. It damages why he would even choose to do what he does to Tywin, and it damages the nature of the relationship development with him and Jaime. You can't just pick and choose arbitrarily what these elements are when you don't understand their repercussions by not including them.
He was winning a lot of awards, and I guess they wanted him to look good.
Yeah.
A lot of things are messed up now. Like, there's a whole child missing for Aegon. Like, he's missing a son. So it's like there's a moment that's gonna, or supposed to happen later on with Aegon, that's not going to happen now. And it's like, how are you going to progress this character? There's no way you can progress him. He's just going to have to be stagnant for like 6 or 7 episodes. Like, is it 6 or is it 8 episodes this season?
8, apparently, I think.
Okay. Or it's like, he's going to be stagnant the whole series.
I'm with that first scene where he just arbitrarily gets caught with Laris. I was like, oh god, wherever they're going, they're going to spin their wheels for the whole season.
Yeah, they're going to be there the whole season.
Yeah.
Because in this part of the story with the book, a lot of characters aren't really that notable, and they don't have a lot going on. Like, Aegon is on the run pretty much this whole time. Like, he's on the run, and there's a moment that happens with him and his son, and it's like, when that moment happens, it's a catalyst for what happens later on. But with him not being there, I don't know how that's going to work. You know, I forget their sister's name, but she has other things that are going to be happening that I'm afraid they're going to muck up too with her. And there's so much from the book that, like, because again, it's not like a definitive thing, because it's just like a history of what was happening and what was going on with these characters. But there's so many elements to it where it's like, oh, this could work, but you're just completely ignoring it. Like, I think that Alicent should have been out of the show in season 2. She should have been gone. Like, she's
Yeah.
a character that brings the show down, you know. And I don't even like the fact that, you know, her and Rhaenyra are around the same age, because it wasn't like that in the book either. But it worked in the first season because it was a good like setup and payoff with their relationship, and then the fallout of the family. But she should have been gone, you know. But now I truly don't know what the fuck they're gonna do for real, because there's a major battle that I am seriously looking forward to, that I think they're gonna mess up. I think they're gonna mess this up, and it's
After
all because
this, I think they're gonna mess up everything.
yeah, I
I'm
think
very
it's
worried.
gonna mess up. Like I like Otto. I like Otto Hightower. They did him way better in the show, like in the first season, than he was in the books. But he has some things going on too, and they're gonna fuck that up, dude. I can't even talk about it, dude. I'm so upset.
In terms of like the show's reception, right, with season 3, I know to some extent it's been overshadowed by Supergirl this week, but like I don't get the impression there's a huge amount of talk online about it, and I do wonder how much impact it's even having at this point.
It's getting muted by
forgot it
Supergirl for
started.
sure.
I have to be honest, I didn't even watch the season 3 premiere. I watched the first season of this show and I really liked it. And it was an impossible feat because I really was so disappointed with how the regular Game of Thrones ended that I never thought that I'd even want to watch more Game of Thrones. And then they did House of the Dragon. The first season was really good. And then the second season, I was so excited for it, and it was such a dip in quality. I just felt like nothing was working in that season. By the end of it, it wasn't exciting anymore like the first season. I wasn't waiting for every episode to come out. Now that they had this premiere, I forgot about it.
Well, I think a lot of that, and I have to jump after this, apologies, but just because of things I know, like George lost connection, we'll just say, with season 2. He has very little connection to season 3. And his vision was not being realized. And I think you could see that in how the story bared out. And when we got the Duncan Egg series, he held on to that with like an iron fist.
That was really good, by the way. The Knights of the Seven
Kingdoms.
Kingdoms.
Difference.
Good.
You can tell.
I mean,
Yeah.
the tone and stuff.
I'm so sorry. I have to jump, guys. I'll see you later.
Yeah. No,
Goodbye
thank
to
you,
all
Aaron,
the
for coming
fans.
on.
I love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Appreciate
Nice to
it.
meet you.
Yeah, like in terms of tone and just look and feel and stuff, like Duncan Egg, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, it's just infinitely more accessible and enjoyable than House of the Dragon has been. And like I know sometimes
It's also
like,
just tight as fuck.
It's tight, yeah, and like you can make the argument, okay, well it's a simple story, and so it's easy to get into, and maybe you have to work a little bit harder to get the most out of House of the Dragon. But man, it's like almost a battle each season to get myself excited enough to watch it, and it feels like a battle that I'm slowly losing. And a show shouldn't be like that. You should be gripped by it, especially as it progresses. You know, the stakes get heightened, the characters start to get killed off. You should be invested in it, and I don't get the impression that many people are.
So for me, like I'm not quite in the camp of like I need a good person to root for. Like, you know, I've had these discussions with Shad and stuff. I really like Damon, Otto, and Aemon, and all three of them are not good people. Like, but at the same time, I can't wait to see what happens next with them. The problem now is that there are too many characters where a scene starts up. Say, for example, it's Rhaenyra, Alicent, Rhaena. There's a couple of others where I'm just like, ugh. Like I got another 5 minutes of watching you be annoying. The White Worm, she's one of the worst, ruining plot lines all over the place. So like what ends up happening is it's like, oh, it's an Aemon scene. Oh, it's Alicent though, so she's never mind. It's like, oh, it's a Daemon scene. Well, Rhaenyra's in it though, and she's gonna be whining about this, that. This episode was crazy for Rhaenyra. She basically his son locks her in his bedroom. Basically, she wants to go out to the gullet and fight, and they're all like, "You're insane. You're our queen. If you die, it's all over." So his son locks her in her room. She gets so mad, she starts like cutting up her dresses and yelling.
Compelling drama right there, Mauer. I can't wait to watch it.
It's the kind of shit where it's like, well, they're trying to make a point about how she's actually not fit to rule or whatever. I'm just like, I'm not sure what they're doing yet. We're gonna have to wait until the season's over, but my god, it is awkward to watch, you know? You're just like, that's how, because she's supposed to be the protagonist, if we're being honest, right? She's the one the show clearly fucking roots for, compared to the Greens. So, yeah, I don't know, not looking great.
It's hard to have faith in the writers in those moments because it's like I wanna believe that you're trying to show us that she's inept and that she is, slowly but surely gonna be the reason why a lot of things happen and she is quite literally not fit to lead and to rule. But I don't think that they understand that. I think that they're trying to, especially with the line that happens afterwards with that, I think that they're really trying to make it seem like she's like in the right in some of these things. And I'm afraid for the next episode where, obviously Jace has died or whatever, they're going to try to make it seem like, hey, had I had gone, this wouldn't have happened or something like that. And make it seem like she was right when we all know that she's wrong. I don't have faith anymore. Like I would have in the first season. Like there are moments in the first season where people like, you're clearly wrong for what you're doing. And, they kind of, Allison is one of those characters. Her husband is kind of one of those characters, the black one, the gay one, and stuff like that, where, they call her out on the bullshit that's going on. And I don't really feel like they're going to be able to do that anymore. I'm kind of like in the same boat as Drinker. Like I've kind of lost like the interest that I had because again, that first season, especially if you go back and rewatch it, it is damn good. Like it's really good. It's as good as Game of Thrones has been since like season 4. It's very good stuff. Yep. And then you watch season 2 and it's just like,
it's a gradient for me. Totally. Like with Game of Thrones, there's scenes that remain, there's characters that remain, but it's all getting depreciated really fast as well. And now I'm like, is this the fate for all the Song of Ice and Fire shows? Is season 2 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms going to be good, but with an asterisk, do you think?
Well, the story they're going to be adapting, just by its nature, is going to turn some people off with some of the characters. That's just how it's going to be. I'm just hoping that they keep the writing the same, where the characters are still interesting and the storyline is still intriguing and the payoffs are pretty good. But just on the nature of that season, it's gonna rub some people the wrong way for sure.
How about we finish up with some super chats here?
Let's do it.
There's a bunch of them. Yeah, so tonight it's a slightly shorter open bar because I'm traveling tomorrow and I need to be on an early flight, so I need to finish up somewhat early. But anyway, the first one here is from Detective Mark Hoffman, who just keeps it simple. He just says, pee-pee, poo-poo. Well said. It's probably the smartest thing anyone said on this bar tonight. Starman says, thoughts on Superman Returns? The plane sequence is fire. I don't know. I still have a bit of a soft spot for Superman Returns. I think it's just got that early 2000s charm to it. I know it wasn't well regarded at its time. Man, I take that over James Gunn's Superman any day.
Kevin Spacey as Lex was that's inspired casting right there.
Yep,
Kevin
Brandon
Spacey
Ruth, I think, did a pretty good Christopher Reeve impression, which I know you can say, like, well, he should have made the role his own, but, like, that's what he was instructed to do, so I think he did pretty
very
good there.
fucking weird movie, though.
Yes.
It's not perfect, but I don't feel any kind of ill intentions. They didn't want to deconstruct him or make him look like a bum all the time. I think that there's something positive about the movie.
Yeah. Blankface says, if you were given unlimited funds and full creative control, what DC project would you want to make? Me personally, I would love to do a story from Mr. Freeze's perspective. I've always found him to be an interesting character, a man turned cold and heartless in the pursuit of saving a loved one. I mean,
yeah,
I'd love to do a Batman movie, I suppose, but that's the holy grail right there of DC, isn't it?
Well, even the people in charge of DC can't do a Batman movie, so...
Well, apparently, yeah. And yeah, Alan is my new favorite character, although I still desperately desire more Otto.
Alan is cool. It was, we didn't talk about the positives, so to speak, of the season 3 premiere. There's some stuff I liked. I liked the Corliss and Alan stuff. I think they did okay with it, like father-son, sort of borderline passing the torch, and finally putting Corliss on a fucking ship and showing off his skill. Finally, it's like
yes. Lord of the Tides actually doing some sailing, and it was pretty badass as well. Like, finally, that was the moment that was good. Like, right there near the end, where it like started to kick up with the naval scenes and the dragon fights and stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, we're here, we're good. But yeah, I think Well, I can't say it because it's a really major spoiler, but I like where they're going with Alan. I like where they're going.
Sure. Yeah.
I've got a confirmed critical doggo movement at the back of here. She moved around the room. That doesn't happen very often, so I have to mark it when it does. Anyway, yeah, RRTNZ says, Supergirl, a sad statement when a CW show made a character more compelling and likable than a big budget film. Also true for Superman. Supergirl dry cleans Chuck Norris's pants with heat vision while he's wearing them. Quite right. Yeah, by all accounts, people have a lot of, I don't know, attachment to the CW Supergirl show. They seem to like it. I think Melissa Benoist was pretty good in the role.
I think the early season, like the first season when it wasn't even on the CW, was on a bigger network with bigger money. I think in that season it was halfway decent in my opinion, but then as the CW took over more and more of it with all of its agenda peddling, by the end of it, it was unwatchable.
Yeah, it's like the same with the other DC shows. Pretty good first few seasons, and then it takes a dip.
Yep. Same with Flash and Arrow.
Yep.
Nicholas the Oreo says, is Supergirl another Masters of the Universe or Mortal Kombat 2? Because from what I've seen, the audience seems to like it, or is it meh about it? Also, can Lanterns and CF offset damage? Lanterns isn't going to do jack shit, man. It's not going to help. Yeah, this is probably going to be... I don't know, I don't think the fans even like it, so it's not even in the same territory as Mortal Kombat 2, where it was, like, popular with fans, but, like, it didn't succeed. I
assumed that we were in for, and there's still evidence of this, by the way. I don't know if you've seen the whole, like, the idea of, like, marketing deals with McDonald's and KFC, thus this film is already making profit. That insane fucking, do you know Anthony Gramuglia of all people posted it being like, Supergirl's already making profit? And it was like, dude, you have no idea how the fucking film industry... Supergirl, the first movie in history to make profit before it even releases. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. But regardless, that was obviously the strategy, but I'm not even sure how passionate people are gonna be for defending Supergirl. Everyone seems deflated who was, like, in favor of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Angry Joe seems to have been brought down.
Yep.
Blankface says, you reckon we still get a James Gunn Batman movie? Nope. Go for broke. Mauler was wondering if you ever played the fan game Another Metroid 2 remake.
No. But I've heard good things.
Wow. Bond films up to the Craig era were the kings of innovative action set pieces. Tank chases, double-decker bus chases, handcuffed bike chase, etc., and crazy villain bases too. Also, what is your favorite henchman? It's gotta be Oddjob, hasn't it?
Oddjob. It's an Oddjob for me.
Fucking great, that guy. Jaws is awesome as well.
Yeah.
I did like him. What's next? So, you saw Supergirl. 2 questions then. First, does the dog die? No. Second, does Crypto die? I see what you did there. No and no. Everyone survives.
I really hate Crypto with a burning passion.
I like dogs, but, like, yeah, they make him pretty fucking annoying. And it's so obvious how manipulative the film is being as well. Like, it's
That's
like
why I
trying to
don't
hide
like
it. Yeah.
He's an emotional manipulation tactic. I can't stand him. I
And
don't
he's
like
CGI. Like, you could tell
Yeah.
he's CGI.
Yeah, very obviously so. Much more than Superman, actually.
Yeah.
King of the North says, I'm guessing Rhaenyra had to fit an HR quota of mentally challenged dragon riders. How not to train your dragon. House of the Dragons had its moments, but I felt like it felt like bad fan fiction. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms was a much better adaptation. Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to argue with that. It's very good. The Imperial Brick. Can't wait for Supper Girl, starring Will Poulter. The resemblance is uncanny, man. Big Hat Legion. Be me in the theater seeing Supergirl. Lobo shows up. Guy in front of me. Whoa, Gene Simmons. He turned out like shit. Everyone laughs. Roll on snare. I mean, if it works, it works, I guess.
Yeah.
Lead paint lunch. Here's some money. Go forth and be something. By the way, late and gay. We were late, but we're not necessarily gay. You don't know. Hail panel. Did you see the article where the SG director said that they took inspiration from True Grit? Yeah, I saw that. Hell, they straight up ripped it off. Yeah, it's a really shit version of True Grit, I guess. Mauler. Yeah. Mauler, where does Dark Souls 3 rank for you against from other From Software games? Also, Drinker is right. You should play the original Final Fantasy VII. I'm always
I gotta get
right.
around to Final Fantasy at some point, apparently. I think Sekiro is the best of all From Software games. Then my favorites are like drawn at Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne. I adore those fucking games, warts and all. So then underneath that is probably Dark Souls 3, then Elden Ring, and Dark Souls 2 is somewhere after a chasm. I kind of hate that game.
You put 3 over Elden Ring.
Yeah, I prefer the way that I'm not a huge fan of Elden Ring. I don't think open world was good for Dark Souls.
I don't know. I think I really like Elden Ring. I really like it
It's a
actually.
very popular game.
I like it. I put it above 3, but yeah, Bloodborne and Sekiro. Sekiro is definitely number 1.
Sekiro's amazing.
DC's Ruthie versus Marvel's Katie. Who wins? I mean, Katie's bigger, I guess. So she probably should win.
Ruthie has a sword.
Yeah. The Supergirl Cup looks like Elliot Page's surgeon got bored and walked away from the operating table. Oh, it's too soon. I think I threw up a little bit. Moving on. I've heard that in Supergirl they double down on Clark's parents, wanting him to conquer Earth and have a harem. Is that true?
Yes.
It's 100% true.
Unfortunately.
He's just so into that fucking plot point, James Gunn. He's like, it's the spine of this history, this universe. Okay? Because, like we said, a lot of people were like, no, it's fake message. It's like, well, now we're definitely too far gone with that. It cannot be.
There's a pattern that's hard to ignore with James Gunn.
Yeah.
Walking out the jackass. Show started when I was 19. It ends with my kid being 19. The math is messing with me. Lol. The end of an era. It's been fun. It's insane how long that's been going.
Jeez.
You guys gonna watch the final one? The last
Isn't it
Jackass
good?
movie?
It's more of like a rerun of the old ones, right?
Oh, they're not making new stuff.
It's new stuff interlaced with older material or something like that.
Ah, okay. I might check it out just for old time's sake.
I might.
I might check it out too.
Drinker, have you seen the drama yet? Thoughts? Mauler's seen it. He said it was good.
I liked it a whole bunch. I liked the premise, and I think I found out what pissed off people about it, and I thought it was kind of interesting. To talk about it would spoil a major.
That's a
plot.
Zendaya movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got around to it. I did hear that it was good.
Yeah, no, I was quite engaged by it. I thought it was a lot of fun as like as an idea. I almost don't want to say too much. Just I recommend it for sure.
All right.
EFAP Obsession Spider Noir coverage, or probably no?
Obsession is very likely. We want to wait until the movie's out so that we can do a bit more showing off what it does and stuff. Spider Noir, I've seen 5 episodes of now, and I think it is good, but it's not making me very passionate. I'm sort of just like giving it a big old thumbs up. Good for you, good stuff, cool. I like that it exists.
I think that Spider Noir is both good and bad. I like Nicolas Cage, and I actually think Nicolas Cage is good in the role, but I really wish they would have offered it to him like 20 years ago. And, alongside some ideas and concepts and atmosphere that I like, here and there's stuff that, if you're doing a period piece about the Depression, there's certain things there of like the modern day Hollywood that just don't fit. I don't want to be mean. If they were making it in 2026, it would make sense, but they make certain decisions that just don't make sense with the times that they're presenting. You know what I mean?
I will say the more the show goes on, the less part of the noir I feel. The more it feels like it's unraveling a little on just becoming your regular TV show.
That's
which
true.
doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Supergirl's iconic jacket is made from the foreskins of her fallen enemies. Yup. So are the drinking cups. I don't know about you guys, but I'm enjoying Open Bar, the real BBC, Last Orders, the WC, Tartan Army, Supergirl being shit. Cheers, Judo Chop. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying everything, man. Like
Yeah.
Gene the Revenant, I'll stick with Supergirl from the 90s DC animated universe over Jimmy Gunn's version. Thanks. I think that's probably a smart move. Drinker, while in Toronto, may I suggest a fast food place called Harvey's? No locations outside of Canada. Yeah, fuck it, I'll eat there. I'll give it a try. I need to try as many new places as I can while I'm there, so Yeah, I'll add that to my list. Harvey's. D&M, hi from Israel, on vacation, and yesterday was my birthday. Because of you guys, you gave me inspiration to do breakdowns and interviews on Jewish movies on my channel, and I'm loving every minute of it. Well, excellent stuff. Good luck to you, man. Hope it goes well. Hey, boys, got my 4K steelbox of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. They made that, have they?
Yeah, I've ordered mine. Looking forward to it.
Can't
didn't
wait
get
for it to
that.
come in the mail. And I can say I